G'day, Mick here, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be building this awesome Kyosho Tomahawk. It's a re-release in 2015. Let's get into it. Okay, for this build we'll be using a FlySky FSGR 3E receiver, a Hobbywing 1060 brushed ESC, and a Tower Pro MG996R servo, metal gears in it, and a Kyosho Le Mans 490. As you can see here, we skipped way forward and did the paint first. So I washed the body and put the masks on the windows, and then hit it with some Tamiya PS2 red, followed by a bit of Tamiya PS12 silver, and a bit of PS2 red over that, so it looked red on the inside as well. After the body was done, it was time to get onto the driver. Had a bit of issues at the beginning. I didn't like the brush I was using straight away, so I changed to another brush, and I couldn't see the wrinkles and shapes in the suit, so I had to mark them on the outside with a black pen. So I just painted the details around his gloves there, make it look a little bit more realistic. And there it is, ready for some blue to go over the gloves. So what I did was mix some Tamiya acrylic X4, I think it was, and a little bit of Createx white. It's water based, but it'll be fine. It's such a small amount it doesn't matter. Just because the blue was too dark, so it needed to be lighter. And so I mixed them together and brushed them on, like around the seat area there and on his gloves. And I cleaned up around the outside of the gloves and stuff, you know, just with a bit of thinners on a cotton tip there. Don't need to be too neat here because decals go all over this anyway, so if you have a bit of paint bleed outside the glove area and stuff, it's all good. And in the meantime I mixed up some paint for that and the same way, and sprayed the helmet using the airbrush. And there it is. Now I'm ready to do some detail on the racing suit. So what I did there, I got some Tamiya PS1 white, and I just sprayed that into the lid, and then got some black and mixed it just to make like a light grey or a medium sort of grey, and just used a cotton tip and ran it over the ridges in the racing suit, just hoping to get the lower parts, you know, of the suit, so it kind of looks like shadows or a bit dirty or something, you know, just to give it a bit more detail. And there's that done. It's kind of hard to see, but it looks better when the white goes on, of course. But before I did that, I went and just brushed on some black around the outside where the black's meant to be, instead of wasting time doing all the masking and that. And then I sprayed the suit using some decanted PS1 in the airbrush. Reason I did that, I didn't want to put it on too heavy and have the thinners in the paint mess up the black. And there it is. It's not perfect, but looks better than just plain white, I think. And as you can see around the back there, I had to scratch a little bit out because it's meant to be black around the back there, you know, because his suit doesn't go right to the seat. So I just scratched that out, and when I hit it with the final black, there it is. It's all black behind and very nice. So now that's all done, I can get on to putting the decals on, and there he is, all finished. And I dremeled out the holes where the wires come out at the bottom, and there's the body painted and got all the decals. I ended up taking that silver sheet off the roof because it had too many bubbles in it, and it wasn't box art anyway, so and then it was time to get onto the chassis. And this is all pretty much time lapse, so I'll just play some tunes and let you watch. There's a couple of tips closer to the end of it, but yeah, most of it's just time lapse and what I'm doing. It's a pretty smooth build. There's no real issues with it. Now here Kyosho have updated the shock pistons to white ones. You got to take the red ones out, put the white ones in. I really can't see any difference in them apart from the colour. That maybe the white ones are Teflon, I really don't know. Anyway, so I changed the shock pistons one by one, and then I filled the oil up. So here I am changing one of the pistons, and an E-clip tool would be really handy right now, but I'm using my pointy pliers instead. Maybe a future video I might make an E-clip tool, and I know you can buy them cheap, but why not? If you got an old screwdriver, just grind the end down and off you go. So trying not to send the E-clip across the room, I just clip him on like that. Then I just like to kind of spin the E-clip in the slot and make sure it's seated properly. So after you change the pistons, it's time to put the seals in. And these can be pretty tricky. I wish there was a tool for it, but I don't know of one. So you just put them over the shock shaft there, and as you can see, there's two little flat areas. There's a flat area inside the seal and also on the bottom of the shock there. So you got to line them up and then pull the seal down over the thread till it's right at the bottom. So it's probably best not to trim your fingernails for a week or so before tackling these little seals, because you're going to need them. Once you've got the seal started on the shock bottom, get it down a couple of mil. I put my thumbnail in the slot of the thread and turn it, and then it helps to bring the seal down pretty evenly. And that's our shocks all finished. Looking very nice. I quite like the Kyosho red shocks. They look pretty good to me. And as you can see, we've got the gearbox all mounted onto the chassis, and got the red shocks on the back there, all looking very nice. Now moving on to the tie rods and so on. Now these pliers I'm using here are a very handy tool. A lot of people use them for helicopters and things. They're known as ball link pliers or ball connector pliers, and they're great for not mashing up your ball ends and stuff. They've got a narrower slot that you stick under the ball and a wider one on top to press down on top of the plastic link. Yeah, very handy tool and pretty cheap too. I think these only cost about $10 or $12. And as you can see, chassis is pretty much complete. Got the front end and the rear end all done. And now it's time to get onto the electrics. Now what I did here, the ESC switch didn't have a plug that I could fit through the little slot on the right there. So I had to cut it and thread it through and then solder it again. And I had to extend the motor wires. So I put a Dean's plug on the motor and extended the wires up to the ESC. And I put a Dean's plug on the ESC as well. And then tied all the wires up so it looked nice. And then it was time to get onto the gluing of the tyres. Then I could fit the tyres and wheels up, and she was pretty much finished for the chassis. All looking beautiful. You've got to be happy with the simple design and the layout of the chassis. It just it all works. They look you know, pretty realistic. Yeah, great buggy. And then I can put the body on and we can call it done. So here's a little montage of the finished product. And that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're new here, subscribe, that'd be great. And you know, leave a like and comment, share and all that. See you on the next one.